This video is presented by EA Game Changers. EA invited me out to Sweden and paid for my trip to come capture some very early Anthem gameplay. This gameplay is from a work-in-progress build of the game, and things are subject to change before the game comes out in February. Hello everyone, I am finally allowed to show some gameplay of Anthem from my time in Sweden. The gameplay that you're going to be looking at today is of the Lost Arcanist story mission, part of the Anthem Critical Path, which is just what they're calling the story campaign, essentially. The gameplay is going to be of the Interceptor mainly, but I do have some Colossus footage at the end because reasons. I've had some general impressions of Anthem posted on the channel since E3 times EA Play, so I would definitely go watch that video. It's linked in the description if you need a super quick recap of what Anthem is all about and my very first impressions from months and months ago, in case that's actually still relevant. I haven't really been able to post news videos for Anthem because I've just been very busy, but I would like to maybe do a recap of those developer streams if I get the time before launch. We played this particular mission on, I think, the normal difficulty first, and it was very easy with 2 people. The next step up in difficulty was a bit more on par with what I found enjoyable gameplay-wise, at least this early in the game, and I will have some of that level of difficulty gameplay in the upcoming weeks as I'm allowed to show it. But if it seems like we're just stomping through everything, that's why. We didn't really have much trouble on this particular difficulty. That being said, this mission was, well, it's a low-level story mission in a shooter. You go around and you shoot some dudes. This mission has a guy that you need to go save, so you shoot some dudes and then you save the dude. Gameplay-wise, on easier difficulties, it was kind of hard setting up combos because things just died so fast, but I was having fun hopping around the Interceptor and freezing stuff as the Storm and machine gunning stuff as the Colossus. It is fun to spam those abilities and synergize with teammates. If you're playing this by yourself, you're not really going to get the most out of this game. Control-wise, nothing really felt too off for me. The gameplay pace, I'd say, is definitely slower than something like Warframe, where you're hopping around all over the place, but higher action than something like The Division. Story-wise, I've only gotten to see bits and pieces, and I'm also not BioWare game guy, so it's really tough to comment on whether or not I think the story will be good or even is good. I'll be clear about that right now. Find someone else if you want more story info, because I am just not that guy. Also, I believe this is a very early story mission on a first playthrough. It is not going to be super high octane gameplay right from the get-go, but I do have some slightly higher octane gameplay coming eventually. I was also playing it a lot like I play Destiny, at least at the start, where I focused more on shooting than my abilities. This is fine if you're using a build that revolves more around gunplay, but Anthem abilities have significantly shorter base cooldowns compared to Destiny abilities, so you can use them and are encouraged to use them much more freely, especially because you can get their cooldowns ridiculously low when you have endgame gear. They're designed to be very significant portions of your damage output, which I think is neat, because using abilities like mortars and lightning strikes and all that is a lot of fun. Obviously, at lower levels, there's not a ton of gear to synergize with, so it's not super flashy right now. I also don't do as much hovering as I probably should be. I do with the Storm gameplay, that will come later because it's more important to the Storm, but hovering and fighting is also pretty important gameplay-wise. The Interceptor was pretty fun. I really like the agility that the Interceptor Javelin has. It's very mobile, but it also has an incredibly low health pool. You really need to utilize your mobility well to get around attacks, otherwise you're just going to die really quickly. The triple jump and the dashes on the Interceptor certainly will help you bounce around the battlefield. The Interceptor's melee attacks, just the regular default melee attacks, were very strong in this build, to the point where it made guns almost obsolete. And the Interceptor's ultimate is the melee attack essentially in hyper mode, doing tons and tons of damage. You'll see that in action at the end of the video. The starting abilities for the Interceptor are a Poison Cloud Grenade and then some throwing stars. The Poison Grenade does light poison damage and sets up combo opportunities with a pretty short cooldown, while the throwing stars have 4 charges and do alright damage. What I'm currently using is a dash and AoE melee attack combo. I think I have the default loadout in another set of clips that I can't show just yet. The dash attack rushes you forward to hit a target, and then the AoE melee attack does a kick to all targets around you. So the idea was, you dash in, you kick, you jump out, and then you repeat. At such a low level, this is basically the extent of the combo. But it was nice to see that even at such a low level, I could change the playstyle of the Javelin that I was using so dramatically, just by swapping out abilities. As you gain levels and get better gear, you'll have additional stats and effects that allow you to min-max certain builds much more. I equate it a little bit more to something like Monster Hunter World, where different armor sets give different stats and effects. So if you want like a stun build in Monster Hunter, you get stealth that helps you stun. In Anthem, if you want a build that focuses on explosive damage, well, maybe you hop on a ranger, get some grenade-based abilities, and a bunch of components that give ability cooldown reduction and enhanced damage, and stuff like that. BioWare goes over those endgame kinds of builds in a live stream that they did a while back. Specifically, they go over an explosive-based build, and all of that is linked in the description. Otherwise, it's tough to give feelings on a build that I know isn't the final build of a game. Any criticism can be immediately met with, it's not the final build, or I was low level, stuff like that. The meat of the game, to me, is playing that end game experience and experimenting with high level gear and builds and all that, with maybe some story stuff depending on how it ends up turning out. I do have some Storm footage as well, and it's probably the best footage that I have, but that is going to have to wait until I'm allowed to release it. If you guys have any questions or anything you guys want me to talk about in the comments, let's chat in the comments. Hope you guys enjoy the gameplay.
Oh, the gates are closing. Looks like we should get them off. Let's take care of the rest and get back to the radio. Okay, I think I got it.
Are you sure?
Mostly sure. It's working. I've got a location. Patch him if I is through.
I'm calling anyone in the area. I need help. There are scars everywhere.
It works! Matthias, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, thank goodness. There's no time. I'm hiding, but the scars are searching. I can see them. You must hurry.
Just hang on. We're coming. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm getting a read on his radio signal.
Are you okay?
A little banged up, but fine. You see that ramp up ahead? The one with the statue? Head up there.
What about scars near you? See anything?
Had a few spots of trouble. Near misses. They're quite relentless. Wait, what's this? I found some canisters. Could prove useful.
Don't try anything dangerous.
Not to worry. It'll be a contained explosion.
I think you better hurry. We're dealing with some scars ahead. One less for Matthias. That's good.
What's happening? Matthias?
Don't worry. Small trap, the scars walked right into it. I'll have to keep moving.
More incoming. Watch those hives. Hives taken care of. Now let's see to those scars.
You got it.
incoming. Watch those hives. Hive's taken care of. Let's see to those scars.
You got it. Matthias, give me an update.
I think I see them. Just... okay. Haven't been this far into the ruins.
Just stay ahead of them. I'm nearly there.
We've reached the tunnel.
You're close. Main chamber just ahead. It's incredible.
Seen some damage. Matthias has been busy.
Last hurrah. I'm out of surprises, freelancer.
Stay put. I'll keep them off you.
Much appreciated.
Where are they all coming from?
Scars have too many ways to add to their numbers if needed. Be careful.
I'm trying. How did you make them so mad, Matthias?
I don't know. Never seen them like this.
We got some scar heavies. Could use some help. Look out! I don't know what it is, but it looks dangerous.
Rust Reaver. The thing's name is Rust Reaver.
I don't care what its name is. That thing just isn't dying. What the hell?
The scar leader's down. Let's clean up the rest of them now, shall we? Scars out of the way. Someone check on Matthias. I think we're done. Everyone's safe.
These scars. I don't know what to think. Arcanist and scars often clash over shaper sites, but nothing like this. I must tell Tassin. Please. I need to return to Fort Tarsus.